In this video, I'm going to show you how I added upper cabinets to my kitchen. This made a huge difference in the functionality and look. This other area where I made the pantry larger and I extended the cabinets above the refrigerator and added the casing while moving the vent, I will show that in another video. You will also notice that I brought out the cabinets above the microwave just so I didn't have a giant wall of all very flat cabinets. And I also got rid of those really small doors with the small space above the microwave by taking out that middle wooden piece. And that's what I'm doing here. It doesn't serve any purpose other than to make the cabinet space more difficult to utilize. And the space above this is one door, which looks neat. I didn't get any video of installing this extended frame above the microwave, but I will show you how I built it. Basically, I'm just ripping some poplar to the depth that I want to extend beyond the existing cabinetry. And then I'm just going to use some simple pocket holes to join these boards together and make a little extended frame. Not too complicated of a process. But you will see that I do need the top part of this frame to be a little different. So I glued two boards together so that they would mimic the top frame of the other cabinetry on either side of it. And this was important just so that my doors had a place to rest when they are closed. So again, just using pocket holes to join these boards together, and then also purposefully placing other pocket holes going in the opposite direction that I will use to attach this frame to the existing cabinetry. And you can see that's what I'm doing right here. Like I said, I didn't get good footage of installing this above the microwave, but it's pretty straightforward. I just place it against the existing cabinetry and screw it in place. Now I'm moving on to the cabinet boxes themselves. These are very basic. They are made with 3/4 inch birch plywood, including the backs and the top. So I get on the table saw and cut them down to the sizes I need. The sizing of these is one of the harder parts about this project. The cabinet boxes themselves have to be exactly as the ones below it, and the cabinet frames where the doors are attached has to be the exact same as the ones below them. This will ensure that all of my doors have the same width and look nice. So before the actual assembly, I will drill all the shelf pin holes on any of the boards that will need them. I will also drill all of the pocket holes in strategically placed locations, making sure that they are invisible whenever possible. So for example, the bottom and top boards, I would put those on the underside of the bottom and on the top side of the top piece, so that once installed, you can't see those holes. Inevitably, some will be visible, but it's also important that those are on the inside of the cabinets. I don't want any pocket holes on the edges of my cabinetry. You will also notice that my bottom piece does not have the same depth as the side pieces. And that is because when I go to install these, I do not want the back piece visible. The only thing I want visible are those side pieces. So the back piece of the cabinet will go inside the side pieces. It'll make sense once you start to see this assembly. So this is all pretty straightforward. Clamps and pocket holes to assemble this cabinet box. You can also see here those pocket holes on the inside of that piece by the shelf pin holes, and those will be used to attach the face frame to the cabinet. And again here you can see how the bottom piece of the cabinet is not as tall as those side pieces. Again, that is where the back piece of the cabinetry will go. And because it's 3/4 inch plywood, the difference between those pieces is 3/4 of an inch. So my back piece will fit in perfectly. As I stand it up here, the left side on the screen is the front of the cabinet. And here comes the back piece. You can see the pocket holes, which are the back of the cabinet, which will be against the wall, and those are drilled into the side pieces of the cabinetry. And on the underside of the bottom cabinet, there are more pocket holes that will drill into that back piece. And of course, just making sure everything is square before I drive in those pocket hole screws. This is now the bottom of the cabinet, so it's turned upside down, and I'm driving in those pocket holes into the back of the cabinet. And there's the middle piece installed because this particular cabinet has 3 doors. And now the top of the cabinet. I'm just going to attach this using simple countersink holes with wood screws. You will notice here I don't have the pocket holes drilled in that top piece. They're not on the underside where you can see them. I just forgot to do it, but I will get that done so that I can attach the face frame without having any pocket holes visible on the inside of the cabinet on that top piece. Now I'm just going to lay out the pieces of poplar that I cut that will make up the face frame. And you will notice that the bottom piece of the face frame is very thin. It's only 3/4 of an inch. And that's because I still have the existing face frame from the lower cabinets, and I don't want this space to be too large because I already have to make the doors a little bit oversized so that the gap between the top and bottom doors is very small. So that's the bottom face frame, only 3/4 of an inch, and that will be the same all the way around. You can kind of see it here as well. And I'm just flipping it over so that it fits nicely over the space. And now you can see those pocket holes have been drilled into the top of the cabinet, so they won't be seen. The only pocket holes that will be a little bit visible are on the inside of the cabinet in a few spots. But really, by the time you get these cabinets loaded with things, you will never see those holes. And again, because this cabinet is exposed on both the left and right side, there are no pocket holes, there are no seams, there are no joints on either side. The only thing you see are the left and right panels. Which again is why it was so important to have that back panel of the cabinet not be visible at all, and be set inside the 2 side pieces of the cabinet. And here I am again just assembling another one of the cabinets. This will be the one that goes over the microwave. Yeah, it's a lot of pocket holes, but when they are strategically placed, they get the job done, and you will really never see them. Now this cabinet is ready for its face frame as well, so let's get that assembled really quick and installed. That 3/4 inch piece that makes the bottom face frame of the cabinet a little challenging to work with, but overall not too bad. And if you are wondering why my pocket holes are not on the outside of this cabinet since it's going to be surrounded by others, remember this one sticks out a few inches, so you would see them when it's finished. So they have to be on the inside. As long as all my measurements are accurate, putting these up on the existing cabinets is really easy. Provided, of course, your existing cabinets are strong enough. So just using a level and some shims on the underside, as well as on the back side, I'm going to make sure that this cabinet is square and straight with the existing one, and get it screwed to the wall. I wrote out where my studs are in relation to the bottom cabinet so that I could transfer those marks. And then I just measured from the inside of the cabinet and got those cabinet screws in there. And remember, there are shims between this cabinet and the wall to prevent the screws from pushing the cabinet against the wall, which could cause it to look like it's leaning backwards. And I believe I used 2.5-inch cabinet screws for this project. And I just repeat this process on all of the cabinets. And you can see here on this middle cabinet, the shims are actually still visible, but I sawed them off. You will also notice there's about a 1/2-inch space between the top of the cabinets and the ceiling, and that's to account for any variation in the ceiling and not have any issues where the cabinet doesn't actually fit. And as you will see, I'm going to put crown molding up there, so that gap will disappear. And there it is. And I will actually make a video just on crown molding because I have a really good and easy system of cutting them, because I know it can be tricky. If you are wondering about the doors, I'm going to make a separate video on how I built the doors. And as I mentioned at the beginning, in my next video I will talk about how I extended that cabinet above the refrigerator and put in that side panel. Thanks for watching.